Right now, we say hello to our good friend Dylan Tereman, who joins us now in his weekly Thursday spot. DT, how we feeling, man? Jets and the Titans. We had a feeling it was coming, and it is definitely coming. Week 1, Jets opening the year in Nashville.
Yeah, we're not getting royally screwed over by the schedule makers so far through the games that we believe have been leaked, but there's never going to be an opportunity for drama that the NFL is going to pass up, especially if it includes the New York Jets. So last year it was Pittsburgh against Rodgers, obviously doing the quarterback swap with Fields. Now it's going to be the Tennessee Titans with Robert Saleh. There's a lot of former Jets players on that roster. As we know, he kind of assembled Smoky Mountain Jets in like the Titans version. Like him and Dayball kind of just brought back all the pieces from both New York teams. So it's going to be fun. I'll call it a winnable game, right? I think you have to at least consider it a winnable game. Can they come out with a little bit of a fire under their ass and prove us wrong about what the season's going to look like in totality? Because last year, week 1, they lost to the Steelers in a pretty terrible fashion, and they kind of crumbled and never got off the mat. So this is going to be the tone setter of the season, and I think it's winnable. But the rest of the schedule is kind of iffy for the Jets.
We will get to what we know so far about the rest of the schedule, but I do want to share this with everyone out there. The Asmaniac meetup game on the road will be Jets Titans. I've already booked a flight. I've already booked a hotel room. I've already secured a game ticket. We are putting together a big time event for all the Jet fans who are making the trip to Nashville. Stay tuned for more information, but we will have something big time on Saturday, the day before the game, and we will be part of a huge tailgate for all the Jet fans making the trip on Sunday that are going to the actual game on September 13th. So book your flights. I booked on United. It was cheaper than both Southwest and Delta for those of you who are booking a flight from the tri-state area. It was significantly cheaper on United. So just wanted to share that tidbit of information with my listeners who are trying to save some money and plan ahead for their trips. Also, for those planning ahead, Gangrene Beach Club, get your tickets. Dylan Tereman, we're going to try and get him there. This is DT in a Speedo. We won't let him bring in the bong, though. That's not allowed at HQ2. But make sure you lock in your tickets to Gangrene Beach Club. You might see Dylan in a Speedo. You just might. Come join us, gangrenebeachclub.com, for the event of all events. DT, your thoughts?
That was incredible. We joked offline. I knew what was coming for me watching all the other episodes this week. If Sabo was in a tub with Frankie V, I knew something was happening. The bong was a nice addition. That was pretty cool. I will say, if I looked like that come July, maybe I would wear a Speedo, but I don't think the hip titties, I guess they call them, the love handles, they're not looking quite like that picture shows, because I've been hitting the bong a little too much. But but this is going to be fun, man. If I can figure out how to coordinate all the rides, and I'll talk to friend of the show, Nick Shine, hopefully a little bit later today. If I can hammer out all the details of travel, I found a flight from Raleigh where I'll be the night before. So I'll go straight from a concert straight to the event on a 6 a.m. flight if it all works out. So I'm doing everything I can to attend, and I appreciate the lengths that people are going through to help me get there. So this is going to be fun, man. That list of people, I keep looking at it. I'm like, how do you not want to be poolside with Frankie V, Joe Blewett, Robbie Sabo, just arguing Bailey Bros versus the Arvell's Army? I mean, Boy Green, like what entertainment. The X Factor guys, Dom C as well. I mean, I'm excited to see everybody if I can make it.
I am pumped, man. I'm hoping you make it. And look, if you're there, get ready, because Dylan's going to light it up, if you all know what I mean. All right, let's talk about some of the other games. Here's what we know, folks. All right, these have been confirmed, and I don't exactly feel great about this. Week 1 through week 5, here's the Jets schedule. We have all the home games. We don't have all the away games or the bye week confirmed. But Dylan, as you see on the screen there, week 1 through 5 locked in. So the Jets open in Tennessee against Robert Saleh and the Titans. The home opener is against Jordan Love and the Packers. Jordan Love, the future Jet quarterback in 2038, of course. Then week 3, Aaron Glenn against Dan Campbell. Glenn back in Detroit to take on the Lions. Week 4, Aaron Glenn against Ben Johnson in Chicago. And week 5, Jets return home to take on the Browns. But to have to face the NFC North in weeks 2 through 4, that is tough. If you lose week 1, Dylan, I hate to say this team could be looking at an 0-4 start just on the matchups.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what the order was, unless they got a cupcake schedule, we're always going to have to consider 0-4 after how last year started with what looked like on paper a little bit of an easier stretch for the first month of the season. Now, Titans, like I said, winnable. Packers, we beat them the last time they came to MetLife. We went to Green Bay and beat them. That was the Breece Hall cutback run where everybody was trailing him. But they're a new team. If Micah does start on the PUP list, he won't be ready for this game, and the Packers are 0-5, and then they rank dead last in like pressure percentage without Micah Parsons. So there is a chance that, you upset the Packers in your home opener. Hopefully, coming off a win from the Titans would help bring a big fan base to that week 2 game. If they're coming in 0-1, like it's not going to be as lively as it would be at 1-0. So that could be a steal of a game with the Packers. Should be fun. The Lions, I mean, they had a down year last year, and it's hard to know exactly what they're going to be. So maybe getting this team in the first 3 weeks of the season is kind of good. They're still feeling out their whole process. I believe they had a coordinator change on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Chicago, regardless of where you slot them, we were going to probably chalk that up to an L. They're coming off a really good season. They were picking 25th in the draft. They went deep in the playoffs. Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson seem to be the duo. Then you get to the Browns. I think it's winnable, man. Can you start 2-3 or 3-2? Like 3-2 is obviously like the high mark, I think, and 2-3 would be like the expectation. But
you can't start 1-5. You have to
just
be
can't.
2-3.
Yeah, you can't start 1-3, 1-4, 1-5. You can't do that. You can't start 0-2 or whatever like that. You can't start on like a big losing streak. But it is not very conducive for like a 3-2, 4-1 start. But 2-3, if you can get there, whatever the week 6 game is, it's probably not going to be Miami. Maybe it's Kansas City. That would be a little tough, especially. But Patrick Mahomes coming back, we'll see. But yeah, 2-3 has to be the expectation with this first 5.
I just can't remember a year where the Jets played the entire division
in 2020. In 2021, they played the AFC North weeks 1 through 4. It was Ravens, Browns, because remember Flacco, it was Garrett's rookie year, and he had that 3rd and 9 play against the Ravens where he was where he was barely used. Then the next week they won against Cleveland.
Yep, Zach came back in the Steeler game and they won that. They were 2-2.
And then they lost to Cincinnati. So yeah, that was the only time, and that was 4-4. So it's we've seen it happen, but it's not. We wish they were a little bit more separated.
Yeah, I mean, look, this division is very good. A year ago, every team in the division in the NFC North had a winning record. Chicago 11-6, Packers 9-7-1, Vikings 9-8, Lions 9-8. So, from a Jet standpoint here, can you be 2-2 through 4 somehow, like they were in 2022? Can you go out there and at the bare minimum be 2-3? Can you get off to that kind of start? I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world, but again, to me, it all comes back to week 1. People think I'm nuts for saying it, but now that everyone else sees the schedule, week 1's a must win. If this team's going to do anything this year, if they're going to get some confidence, if they're going to believe that things are actually different, that Aaron Glenn actually has his team trending in the right direction, week 1 is a monstrous game, because if they win that, there's some validation. There's something that Glenn could point to his team being like, see, things are different this year. We got a real plan. Buy in. It's going to work. Last year, they came out ready to play. Oh, great. Where did that get them? They blew the game against Pittsburgh and then no-showed against Buffalo, and we're down 30-3 in the fourth quarter in that game before a garbage time touchdown. They lost 30-10, and the spiral was on. So week 1, go and get it, man. And then we could talk about week 2 being winnable with the Packers playing without Micah Parsons in that game. They're 0-5 without him. Like, okay, we can have that conversation, but they got to win week 1 first, man. Week 1 is gigantic for this franchise.
Yeah, the last thing any Jets fan is going to want is the Sunday afternoon, Monday morning quotes of Robert Saleh taking pot shots at the Jets about this is what it's supposed to look like. We just convincingly beat the Jets, and like this time around it's going to be different for me as a head coach. Like, that's the last thing we want to see. Even if we are rooting for Saleh to have some kind of success in Tennessee, don't let it start like that. Punch the Titans in the mouth. I think on paper we have the team that can stop their run game. I think Tony Pollard is a fine back, but I don't think he's like world beating. And then on the playmaker side, from a wide receiver perspective, it's like Carnell Tate, who is probably going to get matched up with Stevens or AZ. They have Chimere Dike in the slot, and then Alec Omenor. So, like, you kind of have the ingredients to combat their skill positions. And if you can have the pass rush that we believe they will have now with the additions that they've made, 5 new additions on the D line or on the edge room, I think we can get after Cam Ward and do it. But we'll see. Camp is going to be really telling to know what exactly this team's going to look like. And week 1 still lies, so we'll have to at least hope that it's momentum going into the season.
All right, Asmaniacs, listen up for a second. No matter what you're watching, whether it's New York sports or any game you didn't plan on caring about, there's no better way to stay locked in than with PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy made simple. You're just picking more or less on player projections. That's it. No complicated lineups, no nonsense. Just you versus the numbers. And here's why I love it. Even if it's a game you normally wouldn't care about, once you got a lineup going, you're locked in. Every play matters, every drive matters, every at-bat matters. I've been mixing sports too. Maybe a little football, throwing some baseball, maybe some basketball, and now you've got action across the board all night, and PrizePicks makes it even better with features like early cash outs if your picks are hitting, the ability to mix multiple sports in one lineup, and you can even see what other people are playing and tail their picks. So if you haven't tried it yet, what are you doing? Download the PrizePicks app right now. Use code HMA. That's HMA, and you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, it's HMA on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. Curly Norman says Dance Boy has to win week 1. It's just going to be very tough for Aaron Glenn to follow up 0-7 last year, and then week 1 you lose to Robert Saleh. That almost makes week 2 a must win.
Well, yeah, it would definitely put the pressure on. And if you started 1-1 and it's lost to the Titans, win against the Packers, it would kind of all be a moot point at the end of the day going into week 3. But yeah, that first week, like I said, the Titans and Saleh taking the pot shots, and then, you know, Jake doesn't want to go into his birthday week 0-1. He wants to start 1-0 after being in Tennessee. So keep the fan base happy. Start with some momentum. I don't even want to say if you lose in a fashion where it's like, okay, we have something to build on, because it's such about the team morale too, and they can't keep suffering losses in September. They have to finally get a win early.
I mean, if you really wanted to be cruel, the way the schedule is set up, this is the Aaron Glenn's getting fired by week 7 schedule.
If they don't start,
because think about it.
Yeah.
If you lose week 1, it's you lost to Saleh. That's going to make Woody be disgusted. Then you lose to Green Bay. You lose to Glenn's old team. You lose to the Bears and their hotshot coordinator. The Jets hired, of course, the wrong former Lions coordinator. You lose to the Browns, and it's like, holy crap. If you can't beat the Browns at home, who are you beating? Like, that's the Aaron Glenn starts 0-5 after he started 0-7. Here we go.
So let's just hypothetically say week 6 is the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll just give it a matchup that is not favorable for us. Then you have the Dolphins and the Raiders, 2, I would call them matchups where the Jets might actually be favored despite what the record says through 6 games. So they're winnable games. 3-5 is minimum, bro. Like, I don't want to see 2-6 through week 8. Like, we will have no chance of lurking in December if that's the case. So 3-5, if you can squeak out 4-4, that would be fantastic. Like, Titans, Packers, Browns, Dolphins, Raiders is 5 games on paper that, like, should be close for the Jets to have a chance to win. Now go actually do that, and if you don't come up, 5 for 5, be 4 for 5, and then you're 4-4.
We need a win week 1. I cannot say that enough. The Jets need to win week 1. Lou B says, we're sitting in section 110, Jet fans. Invade section 110. Purchase tickets in section 110 if you're an Asmaniac planning to go to Nashville. I am in section 110 for the game, and we'll have details on our events for Saturday and our tailgate before the game on Sunday. But it is on like Donkey Kong. Week 1 in Nashville. We're making it happen. Huge shout out to Phantom Lights, who just gifted 5 channel memberships. He's the first to be a part of the Curtis Martin signed helmet in a major way. Phantom Lights, this is for you.
Just leave a message. Just leave a message. Thank you.
Thank you, Phantom. Here are the following 5 people who are now channel members: Adam Fella, Bradley 3216, Jamel Hayward, Big Country 51, and W Charles, all receiving a gifted membership there from Phantom. Someone online today, a Titans fan, said there's not going to be a lot of Jet fans that are going to Nashville. And I laughed because it was like 40% Jet fans the last time the Jets played there when we had Aaron Rodgers and won that game a couple of years ago. There's going to be a tremendous amount of Jet fans there, especially that it's week 1 and Nashville's a great city and it's Salah. We might have half the stadium.
I was just going to say, it could very well be a 50-50. We obviously don't have the allure of Aaron Rodgers, but there's a lot of reasons for Jets fans to be optimistic as opposed to last season with Fields, just on the Fields to Geno upgrade alone. Like, I feel like that's enough to get fans in the building. Then, like you said, it's week 1. We're starving for football. It's in a city that's, like, obviously it's September weather regardless of where it is, but it's a beautiful place. A lot of people are attracted to that area just for like tourism purposes. So like, yeah, you can convince your girlfriend or wife to spend a weekend in Nashville and get a chance to go to the Jets Titans game. And I was just going to bring up that person who was chirping on Twitter, because it's like, do they not know who we are as a fan base? And like, I can't really say much personally because I don't go to a ton of games, but like, Jets fans show up. Like, I saw what it was like in Tampa in week 3 when we were 0-2. There was a lot of green and white in that stadium. So we definitely travel well, and week 1 is always an opportunity for us to get it all out of our system in case that's the best game of the season like it was last year.
Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We're breaking down the schedule so far. Full thing comes out tonight at 8. I'm going live on the Jets Collective podcast with Samini and BT to react to it. Then I'll be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I am filling in for Michael K on the radio from 1 to 3. So we will be live at 9 a.m. tomorrow instead of our normal 10 a.m. start time. So tomorrow's show, make a note. We're starting earlier than normal. PSA to everyone out there. Michael Jacob entered the raffle for 1. He became a channel member.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Thank you very much to Michael for becoming a member. He's in the raffle now for 1. Kyle Clifton checks in. Mrs. C was really mad about the neighbor sunbathing nude outside. Personally, I'm on the fence.
He's 2 for 2, man. He's batting 1,000 today. Those are good ones, Kyle.
Money well spent, Kyle Clifton. Money well spent. DT, while I have you here, some Jet news to get your thoughts on. The Patrick signing yesterday. Tim Patrick, your thoughts on the Jets adding a veteran wide receiver?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Tim Patrick, because one of the things that Rich Samini put in his tweet about the signing was that he has inside-outside flexibility. So right off of Kyle Clifton super chat, I guess I would prefer him to be more of like an X receiver, right? The backup to AD Mitchell. We know who the 3 starters are: Garrett, AD, Omar Cooper Jr., the rookie, obviously. And then your backups now are Tim Patrick, Isaiah Williams, and Arian Smith. If Tim Patrick is your 4, I feel a lot better than having Arian Smith as my 4. There were a couple seasons in Denver before he suffered 2 really bad leg injuries where he posted over 700 yards in back-to-back years. So I don't think we're going to see that version of Tim Patrick, right? He's 32 years old, but 6'5", 210-pound frame. If AD is not available for the Jets through any stretch of the season, can Tim Patrick be that guy on the boundary opposite Garrett? I think he is good for, 2, maybe 300 yards in this offense, a couple touchdowns because of his size, helping out in the red zone. Familiarity with Mooj from Denver, familiarity with AG from Detroit. So there's 2 intersection points there. Seth Ryan also, for what it's worth, in 2024 with Detroit. So there's a lot of crossover with the coaching staff. Just come in and be a flag bearer, right? We'll use a solid term. Be a guy who can take the message from the coaching staff and trickle it down to the Arian Smiths of the world, to the Isaiah Williams of the world, and help those guys and the UDFAs and help them along in the process this summer. That's going to be his main role because he's not going to be on the field a ton.
Tim Patrick, if he has to start a game or two, you could live with it. Anything more than that, But that's what he's supposed to be able to handle, like be a good wide receiver 4 or 5 depth piece. So I'm with you. I think they needed to add someone, and I'm not totally surprised he was the guy they added because Kyle Clifton actually asked me yesterday about veteran receivers and who I think they could be interested in. He was one of the names I mentioned, so I don't think anyone should be that surprised. All right, Breece Hall, your thoughts on the Jets getting this done, and now what's the expectation for Breece going forward? First time we've had you on since the Jets got a new deal done with Breece.
Very excited. One for Breece, first and foremost. I mean, I think it was deserved. He's played well enough to earn a contract in the top 5, top 10 of running backs being paid. And obviously it's already gone down from the 3rd highest to the 4th highest with Devon Achan's extension in Miami. So you still have Gibbs, you still have Bijan that need to get paid. So that's going to bump him down a couple spots. He's going to be properly slotted in terms of financial perspective. The performance on the field, in my belief, there's no reason to think that Breece can't have his best statistical season, over 1,000 yards rushing. I think he can do it again in this offense. He should have around 500 yards receiving in this offense. Can he get 9 total touchdowns? That would be the most. Last year, I believe he had 6, including the passing touchdown to Mason Taylor. So can he get up to 9, right? 6 on the ground, 3 through the air. Maybe he gets double digits or flirts with double digits, but 1,500 all scrimmage yards for Breece Hall this year is well within his wheelhouse, I believe, at least. And next year, the price tag is still all guaranteed, so it's basically tag times 2. And I think that's a fine, strategy for Mooj. And I like that he shouted out Nick Sabella because that's somebody who's been on this front office staff since before this regime got here. It's not somebody that Muji brought in specifically like a Robbie Patton. So Sabella getting like a little hat tip from the general manager is always a good feel because at least we know that there are some bright spots in the front office that seem like they've kind of overstayed their welcome in many of the areas.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.